Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Aaron. Thank you so much for that. For those interested, requesting any type of videos, movie review, re-review, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list rankings, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a Cash App as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now this is for Paddington, 2014 film, which is crazy to think this came out all the way back in 2014. And it's a film I had seen once before. I don't think I ever reviewed it, but just saw it, just curiosity, and like I thought back then, I liked it. I did like this film. I know there's 2 sequels, and Paddington, it's not really something we knew, at least I knew about. I don't know if a lot of people knew about in America. It was more British children's literature. I think there's like 29 or 30 books. I think it's a very popular children fictional character in the land of Britain. But in America, we didn't really know much about this. But obviously the film was successful because it got 2 sequels. And the film was cute. Like, the film, I think because it had that kind of British properness to it, that if this was done in America, it'd be much more, what kind of songs can we put that are the hip for the kids, and what kind of pop culture lingo can we give the bear, and what kind of gross out things can we do, fart jokes, things of that nature. There's only 2, well, one almost and one gross joke. That one was at least clever, and they didn't go all the way with it in a good way. And the other, it was what it was. But other than that, it's very clean cut fun and humor for kids. And like I said, because the acting and the character itself, Paddington, there's a fun charm to it that I can see if this is an approximation of how the children books were, I can see why kids got into these books in the first place. Now, the plot of the film is we see this black and white footage of this explorer in Peru who finds these bears. He hangs out with them for a bit and starts to see that they have more smarts than the usual bear. They can even slowly speak English, and the explorer teaches them a few things. He leaves, many years go by, and Paddington is with his uncle and his aunt. Now, the uncle, God, I forget his name. The uncle is voiced by the guy who is in the film Toys. He played the evil general, the bad guy in the Robin Williams film Toys. Michael Gambon, I think that's the name. And I'm like, I know that sounds familiar because I grew up with the film Toys. And I forget who voiced the aunt. Imelda Stanton. Yeah, Michael Gambon from Toys. Now, they're enjoying their life in Peru, in the jungle. They love marmalade. Paddington's excited to get the fruit because they're going to get all the marmalade sandwiches they can get. And actually, the guy who voices Paddington is the guy who would play Q in the Daniel Craig James Bond films, Skyfall, etc. Because I'm like, I know that voice sounds familiar. Oh, it's the guy who played Q. Okay. Again, very proper in their language and their dialect. Very proper. And it just brings a sense of charm and novelty to it. That, again, if this was made in the U.S., it'd be a lot more, like, dumbed down. I mean, some of the The Alvin and the Chipmunks, I did get some enjoyment out of them, but like this is a much better movie. Sadly, an earthquake happens. The uncle passes away. They only find his hat. And pretty much the aunt goes, I'm too old. I'm going to go to this home for other bears. Go to England and maybe to find a home there. He goes over there and he's at the station. He gets ignored. It's interesting, and I kind of like the way they did this, where in this world, yeah, a bear walking around the station is normal. A bear talking is normal. And in a way that kind of made it funnier, where like this family, who's our main family, they look and go, oh, stranger danger, some kind of bear, probably selling something. That's the dad who said that. And you kind of know where this is going. The family takes him in. The kids start to like him. The wife likes him, but the father has issues. And then eventually Paddington will do enough things to help the family, help them be cheerful. You'll have a bad guy in there, in this case Nicole Kidman, who we find out is the daughter of that explorer, and she didn't like how her dad was focused on the story. That kind of got him laughed out of his profession, and so she wants to stuff Paddington, and then Nicole Kidman's our villain. She gets the help by tricking him. Peter Capaldi, I think he was one of the guys that would be Doctor Who. And eventually the family, they go and they help him out, and the bad guy gets stopped. They help Paddington. He becomes part of the family. Kind of stuff you've seen before, but again, it's the way it's done, the way it's handled. I think the cast do a good job. They all seem, like the kids at least didn't seem too annoying or irritating. And the Sally Hawkins and Hugh Bonneville, who played Mrs. and Mr. Brown, they were very capable in their performances, not too hammy or anything. And the special effects on the bear I thought was fairly serviceable. Considering it's very hard to make that happen and work, but I thought, of course this is CG, but I think a lot of times it looked pretty decent, pretty good. And because of the way the character's written and voicing, it made the character endearing. And I do think there's moments that do feature a bit of cleverness and a nice wit to it. A couple examples. Like I said, there's one that almost was a dirty joke, but they made it more clever. When he's on the cargo ship and he's got the marmalade and he's eating a bunch throughout, his tummy rumbles. And he's about to do what, but then you hear the horn of the boat. So I'm okay, at least that's a clever way of doing it without actually having a fart sound or anything. At least, okay, if you don't do it a bit more clever. I can appreciate that. The other bit where the toothbrush, he puts it in and it's he thinks it's for your ears. And then he's like, he tastes it a little bit, but then, you. And then later on, the dad brushes his teeth, and the bear's like, you use your ear cleaners for your teeth? That's weird. And then the dad spits it out. But there's a lot worse gross out jokes in kids' films. So that's more on the tame side. The other stuff, I like this recurring theme where he always has his sandwich as a emergency, and he does a little bit to this pigeon, and he looks down and he looks up without cutting. So he gives it, what? And then he sees like a bunch more pigeons all of a sudden arrive. And that's a recurring theme that he'll think about the sandwich and the birds are right there. And at least there is a payoff for that, which I appreciate. So I thought that was kind of funny. Again, the way everybody behaves with the bear, so you don't have to go through the, oh my god, what is that? It's just normal, typical thing. You either go with it or you don't. This I went with it. One is that he gets to an escalator and he doesn't know how to work it. So he sees there's a sign that says dogs must be carried. Meaning that if you have a dog, you gotta carry it so that the dog doesn't go under the escalator. He thinks, oh, in order to do this, I need a dog. Now, granted, it's a weird song choice. I feel good. I feel good. So good, so good. That's just a weird song to use for he's just going down a fucking escalator. But I like the image of him holding this little dog. It's cute. And then he says stand on the right, so he thinks it means stand on your right foot. You kind of that fish out of water quality that I would see in films like, maybe not to the, well, to some extent, Crocodile Dundee, so, that fish out of water, which, if done well, can be fun to see and to witness. So I thought that was funny. Another bit where they're at this shop to get information to who this explorer is, and there's a guy stealing wallets, and he drops one, and Paddington thinks, oh, you dropped your wallet, sir. And you get this bit where he's chasing the guy and hanging on for dear life, and a police hat gets on him, and a whistle, and eventually gets the guy, and he's labeled a hero because the guy had a bunch of wallets on him. It's stuff that is clean-cut fun, that doesn't overstay its welcome. It goes at a good pace. The bear, with the voice and the dialogue they give him and the look of it, is endearing enough, is charming enough, that it doesn't make him a likable character. The family, I mean, they don't go too in-depth on the family. Like, the sister is learning languages, and she's not the most popular at school, but this bear helps her get a bit of popularity. The boy, he tried to do this thing with rockets, and then now the father's more overprotective. I guess the father probably gets the most, where he was a bit of a rebel, but when they had kids, he was very overprotective. There's certain humor, there's probably a bit more of a British sensibility. Like, they try to get Paddington to this place to find out more information, but they're not allowed, so the father has to dress like a woman. And then this guy thinks, you are so beautiful. Which, again, seems like that happens a lot. I mean, it's happened in a few American movies, yes, but it seems like British, a lot more of that type of comedy ever since Benny Hill and other stuff. What was that Rowan Atkinson show? I forget what it was because I reviewed a few episodes of it. This seems a bit more in British comedy. It is what it is. And this goofy stuff, like those machines that you put and it moves the note all around, this massive machinery to pass notes and messages around. Well, they're trying to get stuff back in there, but they accidentally put a sandwich in there and it gets stuck and causes a bit of chaos. There's a bit when, at this museum, Nicole Kidman's trying to get the bear, and the bear escapes, and he tries to go up this furnace, this ventilation shaft, and he gets his vacuum cleaners, like Dust Devil type things, and you hear the Mission Impossible music as he's going up. So it's not anything mind-blowing or anything, but it's a fun, charming movie that's appropriate for kids, that, the effects work for what they need to do, and like I said, there's a nice, humble, heart-filled charm to it. Nicole Kidman, cool to have her as the villain. You know, she's a good actress. The tone is pretty consistent. There's nothing that seemed like it was out of place, at least for me. Yeah, it's, I don't know why it kept making me think of like stuff like Elf and Harry and the Hendersons. Because they're still quite. I guess just because you have this non-human brought into this family and trying to become one of the family for a bit, and some chaos happens. So it maybe leaves a bit of familiar aspect if you're someone like me that grew up with that stuff. But I love that stuff. I love Elf. I love Harry and the Hendersons. So maybe that just was going to be my cup of tea no matter what. I don't know. Because I'm a sucker. I grew up with that kind of stuff, so. But yeah, this I thought was fun. You know, it was cute to see that the aunt really was at this. Just for a split second, I'm thinking, okay, the elder for bears is that like her nice way to tell the kid I'm going to die soon? Then at the end, no, there really is this home for elder bears. Again, the way the voice of Paddington, how proper it is. I keep repeating that because the voice feels like it and sounds like it fits the character. The face, the demeanor, the stature, the naive but sweet nature. I want to get the guy's name. Ben Whishaw. Ben Whishaw. He did a really good job voicing the character, so. And I'm seeing what it did box office wise. So it made 76 million in the US, but made 249 million foreign. So it made 326 million worldwide. So it might not have done game busters here, but it definitely did very well overseas, and it had like a, I don't know what the budget says, 50, 60 million, if that. So it definitely did well. The second one came out in 2017, and the third one came out in 2024. So, there you go. The third one is Antonio Banderas, and the second one I think has Hugh Grant in it? Yes, it does. And Brendan Gleeson. So. I think I got a request for Paddington 2. And if so, I look forward to that, because I don't think I ever saw that one. But this one, like I had seen before, so I knew I was, it was nice to rewatch it and refamiliarize myself with it. It was still a satisfying watch. Again, if you want to see a kids film that doesn't dumb itself down to the audience, doesn't placate with try to be, we're hip and we're cool and here's the music and here's the lingo and reference 18 pop culture shit. It didn't do any of that, which made it feel more old school and refreshing. Which I think is one of the reasons why when this came out, I remember getting a lot of good critical notice. And for good reason. It deserves it. Fun, sweet little movie, in my opinion. So with that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.